Hello everyone, Thatlowdsg here. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to remove your dash one piece and replace your heater core. This process will work on all 96 to 04 Mustangs. However, the heater cores vary from different years, so make sure if you get a 96 to 98 heater core or a 99 to 01 heater core or an 01 to 04 heater core. That will vary on your application. The dash removal, however, is the same process for each year. The GTs, Mach 1, Cobras even. Not sure about the Selines, but let's just get straight into this because this is going to be a fun process. So to make this process easier on ourselves, we're actually going to remove this seat all the way back. This one's electronic, the lever all the way back. So now with the front bolts removed, then we're going to move the seat all the way forward, so that way we can get to the back bolts. Alright, and then under the driver's seat here, you need to unconnect this clip. 4 bolts removed and the electronics disconnected. Now we need to remove this. We'll just press these in, pull straight up, and then on the back here's a cigarette lighter. We need to press the pin down. You'll just push this piece in and it'll slide right out. Now we can begin by removing the entire center console. By the shifter there's going to be 2 bolts. These are 7 mil. Inside here on this side, there's going to be a clip right here. We're going to go ahead and disconnect it. Now with those 2 bolts removed, the only ones holding the rest of the console in is underneath here, and there's 2 7mm bolts. Rip the e-brake high up as it goes, because now we are actually going to remove this whole console. Alright, so now we're going to start underneath the driver's side dash here. We're going to remove this knee bolster. There's 2 8mm bolts, one on this side, and then one right over here. Pull it straight out. Clips are on the top side here, so you want to make sure not to break these or bend these off. Now with this metal piece exposed, there's another 2 additional 8mm bolts. One on this side right here by the vent under here. In this small hole, there's another one right in there. Alright, now we're going to remove the metal cross brace right here. There's 2 8mm bolts. One is right here, right by the fuse panel. And then down towards the trans tunnel, there's the other one right here. There's the other, and this will just slide right off. So if your wheel isn't locked already, go ahead and give it a turn. Directly above the brake pedal, you'll see this black bolt, 10mm, connects straight to the steering shaft. So now the fun part where we start disconnecting all this off. So right above here, connection is, there's gonna be a 7mm bolt inside of here. We're gonna go ahead and take that out. Just like that, and it'll come straight out. Now these 3 connections, the green, the gray, and the brown one, need disconnected as well. Take your flathead, press it up against this side right here, and it'll pop right off. The next connection, if all this fuse panel here, or this frame spot right here, is this gray piece right here, and we're actually gonna have to remove it off of the frame of the car. There we go. All right, now there's 4 13mm bolts holding the column in. There's one right here, and one right here, and then the other 2, one right here, and then the other one right here. There's one. Three connections going in this BCM module right here. Disconnect them. So now we're going to remove the airbag module for the car. Come around here, follow up over around here on the trans tunnel. It'll be pressed in. We'll just slide it right out, pull this back all the way and push it straight out. Now we can remove kick plate right here and the sill panel. You can see there's a small circle piece right here. That's where you can get your panel tool remover around it. Pull it straight out. Now with the sill plate off, we can just slide this right out. Hidden behind that kick plate here, there is these 3 connections. So go ahead and disconnect these. So now we're gonna hop onto the passenger side, but we'll just remove it just like this. Just back clip off, work your way towards the front of the car. All right, now we're gonna remove connection going into the blower motor. All these connections that were hidden by the kick plate are also gonna get disconnected. The piece is just on the side here. Press that in. All right, on this back side, there's gonna be a clip, pull it up, slide it right out. The 03 to 04 Cobras will have an additional set of wires, green and yellow tracer wire. I'll put a screenshot just so you can see it. But now, we're gonna open the glove box. If you didn't know, our cars have a hidden little compartment. Hold these two in, pull it down there. In here, we're gonna disconnect the antenna cable. Pull straight out. The 03 Cobras will also have a similar looking line like this for the vacuum lines for the boost gauge. Put a screenshot on here. Now we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the vacuum lines for the HVAC system. Pull this straight off. Now your application might be different from mine, but now this would be where you would remove your radio. There would be two 8mm bolts on both sides holding it in. Now we're gonna take a small flathead screwdriver, carefully pry it underneath the defroster vent, pull it off of the clips. There we go. You want to be very gentle as you go around. So then there's going to be three 8mm bolts holding it in. One right here in the middle, and then one right here on the driver's side. Back on the driver's side here, and right where this ratchet is, you can see through here, there's going to be like a golden 8mm bolt right there. We're just going to go ahead and remove that. Okay, now right where the hood prop is, there's going to be this bolt right here. Sometimes it'll come out as a stud, sometimes it'll just stay as is. All right, following the shifter underneath where the trans tunnel is, there's going to be these two 8mm bolts right here on both sides of the car. I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Now there's two more 8mm bolts that we need to remove on the passenger side. First one we can see right where the kick plate is. There's one. And then the other bolt we need to remove in the glove box, right in the corner right there. All right, and there's that one. So now outside of the car, we need to come to the driver's side wheel and we have to remove it. Now with all these loose, back the car up and remove the wheel. Underneath the wheel well liner here, you're going to want to look for this one going into the firewall itself. And then on the opening side right here, this has a 10mm on it. You'll have to use a shallow. Just like that, it'll pull straight out. And this is the only thing holding the dash in. To leave on both sides of this, we have to press down and in, and that will allow us to push it. There we go.
And it just pulls straight back on this side.
Wow. This would be the part where you'd come around to the engine bay and remove the hoses going into the heater core. As you can see, I only have one of these prongs right here, and the other one is missing. That is because I broke it off. This has been off for months now, so I apologize I can't show you guys how to remove it, but it's pretty simple. Underneath here, we also need to remove this bolt. Pry it off of this right here. This is a 10mm, and it was so loose that I could just spin it right off. I don't know if that would be like that for your application. All right, and then back behind that, there's an additional one that we need to remove. An 11mm. So now we're just gonna remove this bolt right here. This is a 10mm. And then this piece can just slide right back and you can get the other bolt back here. Or you can go underneath up here and get it. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these front bolts. These are just 8mm bolts. Alright, we're not even gonna fiddle around with those back bolts. We're just literally just gonna see if we can lift it in and out. All right, and here's the old and here's the new. So you will have to take off this back bolt back here. I'm using a flex head ratcheting wrench. We're gonna go ahead and remove that. This back bolt back here, I don't think it needs to get removed. Definitely a pain. Slide the heater core in. Now with the heater core in place, we're gonna put the box back on. I accidentally broke mine off. That was an accident on my part. Just kind of like a gaskety material along the edges here. If you wanna go ahead and reapply some to the surface, you can go ahead and do so. All right, and that is on. So this should be good. I'm not even gonna bother filming that back bolt. Get one of these super skinny, flexible, like ratcheting wrenches. It'll make the job a lot easier, I promise you that. Go ahead and install these back up into this. All right, and that one's snug as well. Okay, now all we have to do is connect the hoses, return the supply, and then we are good to put the dash back in. The supply one will go on this left-hand side right here, and we'll just shoot right into this plastic piece into the manifold. And then this is the return hose. I will show you where that goes into a second. Before we do that though, we're gonna go ahead and slide this right behind there. Knock that thing down, and this black piece will slide back over it. The bolt that goes over this is a 10 mil. All right, that'll hold it in place for a second. Right now I'm just using a socket to turn it. I'm not using a wrench. All right, I've got it tightened up to where I'm okay with it. So now we're gonna go ahead and connect the hoses. There we go. So I went ahead and just sprayed my fingertip with some WD-40 and just worked around the edges. Right where this metal piece is right here, there's actually a blocker piece, so you'll know that it's flush. And then after that, we'll just connect this to this, just like that, and you'll hear it snap. So the supply hose is in. Now we just have to get to the return hose. So I had a bypass system that my grandpa taught me. So when I didn't have a heater core, I had a hose going into where this supply hose is now. Back through here is where the actual new one will sit into. So we're gonna go ahead and undo this clamp right here, the new hose in. There is the plastic piece right there, that black piece, that's where we're gonna plug the hose into. It's gonna be extremely difficult to get it at that angle. I also put a little bit of WD-40 in this just to make it slide on a lot easier. Push back as far as you can get it. You'll be able to tell easily when it's flush. Should snap right over. There we go. All right, so we're about to put the dash back in. The first step is gonna be putting this blend door back on because we can't get to it through the radio. So the blend door will plug back in right here onto this connection. Yeah, it's over that bolt.
I think it's in.
All right, you can see when it's aligned, when the top bolt holes are exposed, and you can get to all three of them. And then down here, you'll see that under the glove box one, that one aligns. And then the bolt inside the glove box right there, that aligns pretty good. This will slide back over the metal piece right here. And then through here, yeah, that one looks like it's aligned right through there. So it's all ready to go back in. Okay, so now we can begin by putting in the 3 bolts that hold in by the defroster. Right, there's 1, 2, and there's 3 on the passenger side now. Right under here, right where this is, we're gonna put the bolt back in. Tighten that one back up. All right, and that's in. Now back on the driver's side. Through here, there's that bolt right where that hole goes. By the hood prop, put the bolt already back on it. 15 mil, we just gotta put that right back on. And that's on. All we gotta do is put the bolts back in, down by the trans tunnel on each side. These are these 8mm bolts. They're very distinguishable. Same process on the other side, just the same bolt, and they just go straight in. But now we can begin by starting on the passenger side here and doing all the connections. Go ahead and connect the blower motor back. Snapped right in. And now we're gonna go ahead and connect all these connections. This black piece with the red opening. We'll go to the middle one right here. Snaps right on. One back here, the gray to the gray. Snaps right in. And then this one back here, this gray piece. All right, and yours should snap back on, but I broke the clip, so that's why you didn't hear a snap for that. This piece might be hidden underneath by the dash. I had to go underneath. It's kind of tucked behind the radio. This only lines up one way. This opening end will go into this end right here. And that's connected. Connect the antenna cable. That's in, and now we're done in there. Now with the passenger side done, we can install the kick plate and sill plate. On the bottom right here, you'll see it has an opening for the slide. That will go on along the rails here. You'll slide it right on, push it till it's flush on. You'll hear it snap. Then you'll take the filler panel, and it's fully in there. Okay, so now with the passenger side pretty much completely done, except for the seat, of course. We're gonna go ahead and do all the connection pieces that we can for now. All right, so right by here by the hood prop, we've got these 3 connections. You see these ones are red. These will go into BCM, so you know they're not going there. But this black one will just line right back up with the black one right here. I'll just snap right in. The smaller gray one will go to the smaller gray one. Bigger gray piece, the same gray bottom. And then this one to this one, of course. And those are all in. Now we're gonna go ahead and connect the ones going into the BCM. All right, so the smallest side will go right in this one, closest to the hood prop. The white piece will go in the middle. We'll just snap right in, and then this black piece will go right on the end right here. And we'll just slide right in, and you'll hear them all click in. Now we can actually put the kick plate back in and the sill plate. Same process, different side. And that's in there. Now we're gonna begin by putting the wheel back on. You can see that there's 4 holes right here with these metal pieces. That is where the bolts will slide up into. As you can see here, here's the studs on the right hand side of it. It's got a frame piece right here. And then right here with this frame piece, you can see the 2 studs, one right here and the other one right here. Once we get the wheel put up in there, then we'll have to put this connection in. And we're also gonna have to connect it to the back of this shaft. This should easily slide right back on. We're gonna go ahead and connect the bolt going back into the steering shaft right here. 10 mil. Going around, I was putting these bolts on the studs just to hold it in. Connected the steering shaft as I had about 3 of them in. Before we go ahead and bolt this thing down though, it might be easier to actually get this connection in. Yeah, that's in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and actually fully tighten down these bolts. So I started with the corners, diagonal across, tighten them down pretty well. I don't know if there's a torque spec. If so, I'll put it later in the video. Now the 3 connections, the brown, the green, and the gray ones. That connection right there that we had to press in the 2 tabs for the firewall that we disconnected the wheel. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and slide that through. It slides in just the shape of the connection itself. You'll press the 2 tabs in and push it through. You'll be able to tell that it's fully out. All right, and then this big connection, I had it tucked behind the fuse panel. We'll plug right back into here. So we'll go ahead and just line it up. You can see the progress of where it was pushed out, and then as I tightened it, it went back in. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and plug the airbag back in. Just slide over and slide in. The red piece on top, you'll push it towards the car. So you can see I pulled it out, push it right in, it'll snap. All right, now we're gonna put the metal cross brace back in. Just sits just like this. And this bolt will go in this clear corner right here. All right, and so hold this metal brace back in place. Through the bolt right here, I'm gonna push this in. Try to get a little hand tight if we can. And then you can see that it's lined up right there. All right, now that metal piece is in. Now we can put the actual knee bolster itself in. You'll see this bolt right here lined straight up. I'm gonna go ahead and hand thread it in. That will have to line up. Just gonna go ahead and give this itself a push up and in because the clips are along this side right here, and that pushes it in. You heard it snap, and then we can go ahead and tighten the bolts back down. And these are 8 mils as well. We need to get the connection going into the firewall. I'm not gonna go ahead and film me jacking the car up and taking the wheel off, so let's just get straight to it. All right, and this should just slide right back on and over. Bolt right here in the middle, we're gonna go ahead and tighten it down. It's a 10 mil, you'll have to use a shallow. Once you can start to tell that it's getting hard to turn is when you know that it's fully in. I mean, I'm gonna give it a tug and it's in there pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and rip the e-brake bar as we can. We're gonna pull the boot out. Slide up and around the e-brake right here. All right, and this needs to push forward so that way we can get these bolts back up in here. Got the bolt holding that one in. It helps if you lift the back up and push towards the car. And this connection should be connected back onto here. That's snapped in, and then this will go into the cigarette lighter once we put the boot back over. Now we just need to get the bolts on the inside of the center console right here. All right, and that's done. All right, now we're gonna connect the boot and connect the cigarette lighter right here. And that's connected now. Slide right over. That'll push right in, and then you'll just tighten down your shift knob. All right, now we can begin by putting the seats in. I'm only gonna film the driver's side one. Same process. This can only go in one way, and it'll just slide right over the studs. We're gonna go ahead and connect this connection underneath the seat while the seat's already pushed forward. I don't know if these have a torque spec. I'm just gonna tighten them down as hard as I can. If I find a torque spec online, I will put it in the description. All right, with the battery connected, this should, slide back. Now will give us access to the front bolts. Now is the part where I'm either gonna be very happy or very upset after doing all this work. Play also a game of Will It Start? My favorite project car game. The real question is gonna be, does it have heat? Does it have AC still? All right, so we got the heat on. Heat is kicking on. You guys won't be able to feel it, of course, but it is actually on and working, so that's a good sign. And it's kind of dropped down, RPM wise, cooled off a little bit. That does it. That is the heater core removal and install. Put the defrost vent back in. Clips on the outside, and just press in from the middle. If you guys have made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Hopefully this video helps you out anyway. If so, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to meet me down in the comment section down below. And if you aren't subscribed already, consider subscribing, as there will be some future Mustang content along the way. But I wanted to make a very short and simple, easy to follow heater core removal video, so that's what I did with this video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out, and I will see you guys in the next one.